Sci-Fi Sisters are now sponsored by Arya Comics, located at 313 Halsted Avenue, Harrison, New York. Arya Comics celebrates and promotes everything that is wonderful about comics, toys, artwork, and the joy they bring to people.
Positive and upbeat, they invite you to come in and experience their selection and atmosphere.
Looking for something new and different to read? Their staff is always willing to help you find a book that will put a spring in your step and get you hooked on something new.
If you have children and have been looking for a family-friendly store, look no further.
With awesome events like creator signings and Facebook Live sales, where you can find everything from mainstream comics to collectibles to hard-to-find editions, make All Yeah Comics your comics destination.
Their customers are the most important part of the business, and they want to hear from you as well. So give them a call at 914-732-3600. That's 914-732-3600.
Yeah, Comics. Let's be awesome together.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Sisters podcast, where we give you our point of view. I'm Tamia Harper, and I'm joined by my sisters, Fran T.
What's happening?
Yvette Blackman-Tom.
Hello.
And Sabrina Wood.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Indeed, because we have a special guest today who really, like, we're all just sitting here really tickled and smiling really big because he's one of our good friends and we love him so dearly. And so you know him from, maybe you know him from The Seventh Rule. He's a producer on that. And perhaps you know about his book, Live Long and Evolve, dun, dun, dun. What Star Trek can teach us about evolution, genetics, and life on other worlds. You might have seen him on the circuit at the conventions doing different talks and panels. And you might have seen him on his YouTube show, The Trekkie Explains. And if you're down in North Carolina and you're at Duke University, you might be one of his students because he's the Dean of Natural Sciences and a professor in the biology department. And he's so dope. But his biggest credit, biggest one to date, he's now officially a part of the Star Trek universe family as a science consultant in the Star Trek franchise. And we're so proud of him and we love him dearly. Everybody, please welcome Dr. Mohamed Noor.
Yay!
That was the kindest intro ever. Thank you so much. I'll tell you, I'm the one who feels really honored to be here with you guys. I love your show. I love you guys as people. I'm so excited to be here. I've been watching the show or listening to the show since the very beginning. And every time, I'll even be playing it back and showing my wife, hey, listen to this. This is really great. I'm playing these little clips for her and stuff. I love you guys.
We really appreciate that, Mohamed, because we know you always say such nice things. So, in the chat pack at The Seventh Rule, you always comment on the show. You shout us out. You talked about us in Las Vegas during your own presentation and absolutely floored us.
Right. I didn't even know we were in the audience.
No, I didn't know you guys were there. And I was like, oh, there you guys are.
Did you know we were here?
So we appreciate that so much, and we couldn't wait to get you on the show because we want to talk science.
Yes, science. Yeah. Love it.
Science.
We're going to bring it down, because sometimes I get a little lost. I have to, go back a few pages and read it again. But, okay, I got you here now.
I'm right with you.
I mean, we could ease you into a conversation, or we could just jump right into the main topic. To the question that's burning behind everybody's brain. Oh. Sabrina, you know which question I'm going to go with?
About we're saving that one.
I'm saving it for the end.
Mohamed,
is it whether Andorians can be black when you're interviewing?
Yes. And if they are, where are they?
Yeah.
We haven't seen them.
I keep telling you.
They're wearing it. We know they have, ghostly looking ones.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The EDAR.
Yes, the black, the sight impaired ones.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Yeah, no, the answer to that question is absolutely there could be black Andors. There's absolutely no reason why there couldn't be. There's no reason why not.
And there you have it.
There it is. There it is. Here we go. Here's the real question. Go ahead.
How come they haven't showed them yet?
Oh, that's
How
not.
come they haven't been on the screen yet?
That's all right. I know what I'm cosplaying next time.
A black Andorian.
Oh, baby, here we go.
I know. I think I'm going to
Yeah,
have
get
to
that.
have
That's a
a
good
whole
paint.
little gaggle of black Andorian cosplayers.
How many
Oh, that
Andorians have
would
we
be nice,
seen?
wouldn't it?
How many Andorians have you seen? Is
Yeah,
that what you
because
said?
of course there's Shran, and then there was like a couple around Shran, and then there's more recently there was Noah's character. I can't remember.
Rin.
Rin, yeah, thank you, Rin.
Mhm.
And there were a couple around that. I think in total maybe we've seen like 10 or so. I don't think we've seen like tons of Andorians.
Well, Noah said that there are black Andorians. He said,
"Oh, good, he's right."
expletive deleted. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep this as a not explicit show for all of Mohammed's followers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, blue like Duke. Yeah, that's right. It is a good Duke color. Well, I guess some of them are kind of almost the UNC colors. We don't talk about those Andorians. Like light blue ones.
Okay, Sabrina, I totally hijacked your show. Sabrina, go for it.
Oh no, that was the question. It's on my notes. Like black Andorian, it's right here.
There's another. What about your other question, Fran? I'm surprised you didn't bring up the Orions.
Orions?
Yeah.
The green ones?
What about them?
I think they're just green all over the globe.
You think they're black too? There's some black Orions.
You're asking me? You're asking Fran.
I think I'm asking Fran.
Oh, do I think there are any? No.
You brought this up. You don't think there are? No.
No, I don't. I think that the Orions are just pretty green. I don't.
It's
I
true.
don't think there are any. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please. I interrupted you.
No. I just think they're green. Just like I think the Andorians are blue and white.
Yeah.
So
we've seen more variation in color among the Andorians than among the Orions. So in that regard, it's probably more likely that we'd see it in the Andorians than in the Orions. Okay. But I mean, it doesn't rule it out. I mean, there easily could be.
Right. Cool.
Well, maybe
it could be that cool corner of Orion that they haven't explored yet.
We saw the black Tolerite last night.
That's right.
Did we?
Right.
Well, maybe...
Okay, no spoilers, and that's another thing I'm going to tell you guys. No spoilers. Fair. Come on now, keep it clean. No spoilers. All right, go to your corners.
Fine, whatever, Sabrina.
Yvette is mad. All right. Okay. So
if Paramount Plus is listening, and we know you are, we need to put the black Andorians and Orions on the screen so that they can become canon.
Totally.
I agree.
There we go. And done.
All
right, Sabrina, please wrangle us in.
Well, we've got a little bit about your background, Dr. Noor, and I did want to ask about Duke and how you used the book because, well, first of all, I was introduced to you at the 7th Rule. That's how I met you. And
that's how we met, yeah.
Right, in the chat pack. Yay, chat packers, hey.
Chat pack, our prize eternal.
Shout out to Ryan T. Husk.
Yes. Yay, Ryan.
So now, how did you get involved with the chat pack?
Great question. So I actually been listening to the 7th Rule since literally the very first episode. I went back through my text messages and I had sent a note to Aaron, who I'd met Aaron before from his previous podcast, the one with Garrett Wong. I think it was called Alpha Quadrant. Mm-hmm. We actually did a podcast together with Garrett and Aaron and me and this other guy, Dick. I forget what his last name is, but we did one podcast together. So we knew each other already from that and, also from conventions and things like that. So when Aaron spun off the 7th Rule, I was watching from the very beginning. I was like, oh, this is great. I love Sirach Lofton. It'd be great to see it. Aaron had said he'd like to get me on the show at some point in time just to come as a guest. Unfortunately, that never happened prior to him passing away, which was, I mean, my not getting on is not the important part. There was just very unfortunate the timing of his passing away and such there. But after that, when they were doing the memorials for Aaron, Ryan Sirach reached out because they'd had my contact information because it had been shared already at that time. They said, "Why don't we have a quick chat and reminisce about Aaron?" So I came on the show to do that, and this wasn't the regular 7th Rule. This is that whole stretch they had with reminiscences, and we just had the best time. Oh my gosh, that chat was just so much fun. And before I've been listening, but like not regularly and not necessarily even live. I just catch it later. So like I don't think I even was aware about the live chat aspect. But it was after that, then they invited me to come on another regular show after that. That's when I started watching the live chats. It's like, wow, this is really cool. So basically just gradually started building up from there when I got a little bit more active and then I was like, I want to watch this every week, actually. So,
I'm wearing Chat Pack t-shirts.
Oh, yes.
In your honor.
Oh, that's great.
We almost wore the same thing, Sabrina.
Oh, nice. I love seeing you all in there, too.
It is so much
when we
fun.
can come.
It still blows my mind just how positive a community that is. Like, I can't think of another online community that involves people just like hiding behind the keyboard where you never see their faces or anything like that and chatting. And that goes on for years. And like, I remember maybe once or twice a troll came on. I mean, it's almost never. It's almost always incredibly positive. And it's not a very homogenous community in any dimension, too. I mean, there's people who I know are hardcore, politically left versus politically right, or, any dimension there, like, old, young, you name it. There's so much variation there, and yet everybody gets along so well because of our shared love of Star Trek and just positivity about it. It's really a model for like, this is what humanity should be like.
Exactly.
I feel that way every time I'm in the pack, every time I'm in that pack with everybody. I mean, that's when we first met everybody through the first virtual TrekCon, when we did the first virtual TrekCon, which was so cool and so much fun. And it was like, oh my God, who knew that these people, they were so accepting and so loving, and just welcomed us right away. And Anne-Marie Siegel, I got to give a shout out to Anne-Marie Siegel because she just loved us from 21 Jump Street, and, and so it was a really great community, and I just love them dearly. I really do.
Yep.
100% agreed.
Sirach was so cool to come on our show, and Ryan gave us the big premiere of our podcast send-off, like he had us come on their show. I mean, just the nicest, just doing everything to make it possible for us to do what we do. And I just really shout out to Seventh Rule. I just had to find out how you got there. So that explains everything for me. So now I'm going to go to the next question I have, and that's, how did the book come about? Because I love the book.
Love the book.
Thank you. The book has a funny story. So I started speaking at conventions, and that has its own long story. I won't go into that. But I started speaking at conventions and just giving these talks about. And the point of the talks at conventions were like to teach evolution or genetics or some other sort of science concepts using Star Trek as an entry point. And I really had a lot of fun doing that. I also occasionally would do like a local science cafe kind of thing here in Durham or other places, and just talk about just the science about that without any of the Star Trek connections. Princeton University Press, which is who publishes the book, reached out to me and said, we'd like you to write a book and give a public talk. You can pick the topic, but, and they asked me, what kind of public talks do you give? And I said, well, there's two public talks I usually give the most often. One is just basically an evidence for evolution talk. But my former PhD advisor, Jerry Coyne, wrote a book called Why Evolution is True. I could not improve upon that book. I mean, there's no way. Like, and it's fairly, it's not that long ago. I couldn't really do anything with that. The other talk I tend to give is on speciation, the process of making new species. He also wrote a book on that. So she said, well, are there any other public talks you give? I'm like, well, there is something. It's a little out there for an academic university press. But I had her watch a video recording of one of my talks, I think that I was prepping for Dragon Con. And she watched it and she thought, this could be good. I could like that. So basically then what I did is I adapted my introductory course that I teach at Duke. It's just called Introduction to Genetics and Evolution. I essentially just adapted that class. So that's chapters 2 through 5 in the book. Same coverage, and just said, I'm going to just pull out Star Trek examples for each one. Some of it came directly from those outreach talks I was giving. Some of it were just new things I had to then come up with. The hardest part, though, was going through the franchise, because I know the science fine. The hardest part was going through the franchise to make sure I didn't miss something. So I had to rewatch or go through the script of every episode. And this is, like 800 episodes.
Wow.
That took a year.
Detailed research.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I had a spreadsheet too where every row was an episode of Star Trek and then the columns were the book chapters. And after I'd go through either a script or watch an episode, I'd enter stuff in like, oh, this one mentioned prion diseases. Oh, this one mentioned blah. I just enter this. That way then I could pull out that column when I was writing the chapter and be like, okay, here's all the episodes that mention anything about this topic.
So that's how you came up with that cool graph you have in one of your presentations where you actually said from like 1969, this is how many mentions of genetics.
Right.
And then you go through.
So part of it was from that, but part of it also, I mean, I'm a computer geek, right? So I actually wrote a little Perl script to actually go through all the episodes and find every mention of it and pull those out. So it was a combination of those two things.
Okay. Because I was like, how did he come up with this graph? Because this is wild. But it was interesting because the graph shows, back in 69, there were just a few mentions of genetics, and then it kind of goes up, and then it just zooms up when we get to Voyager. Yeah. And you're telling us in this presentation that you gave about how it was with the discovery of the genome and the science that was going on outside of Star Trek. And as that science was developing, so were the references. And then now you just took us all the way to Discovery, and you said that was advanced genetics, and we get to Discovery.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Boy, you should give my talk. You're better at it than I am.
I listen, man. I listen to this mess. I love it.
That was beautifully said. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, the sequencing of the genome, that's when really you saw that big jump up with Voyager, then Enterprise even more. Yeah. And then Discovery, That's
right, because it was really crazy. It was just like zoom, like a, acceleration graph. Like,
there's a funny case with Discovery too in season 1 where they talk about when they're talking about the tardigrade, and they make this reference to the tardigrade getting its genes by horizontal gene transfer, which is a really complex concept. But what's funny about that one too, and you may have heard me say this in talks before too, that was based on a study published in 2015, which said that the tardigrade's genome had something like 15 or 16% of its genes that had been acquired by horizontal gene transfer, but that actually ended up being wrong.
Wow.
It ended up being an error.
I'm glad I missed it.
They didn't quite retract, but other people essentially showed that study wrong the next year. But I think that essentially the disproving of it didn't get as much publicity as the original study. So when Discovery then came out in 2017,
disinformation.
Yeah.
Not quite.
But it was a heroic effort. I mean, kudos to them for trying to incorporate something that was at the time, really, really good science. And just, it turned out the science didn't hold up in that one case.
Okay, so here's my question about Discovery. This is my Sabrina question to Dr. Noor. All right, so we jumped 900 years, talking about acceleration, right? Yeah. We jumped 900 years into the future.
Yeah.
If we go back 900 years from where we are now, we're back at like William the Conqueror. The Moors are still in Spain, whatever. I mean, like way, way back. And if we compare humans at that time to humans of this time, we have a longer lifespan, we're taller, we have better teeth, right? So if we jump 900 years into the future and we talk about accelerating DNA or whatever the right term is there, I would have expected to see humans looking a little different from the humans that were on Discovery.
Yeah, great.
What do you think? What do you think of that?
Great question. So I suspect a lot of the difference that we see from, say, today going backwards. Now we'll come back to the forwards. If you're going backwards, a lot of it isn't genetic. A lot of it is just, they have better diets, they have better hygiene. All those things are so much better now than they were, say, 1,000 years ago. And better understanding of how to cope with disease, better medicine. It wasn't so much that we've genetically changed. It's just things are better. So if you were to take a baby now, and put them 1,000 years in the future, and you have the similar sort of thing, they'll probably be just about the same. They're not going to be all that different, I don't think. Okay. I mean, our generation time, what is it? On average, like 25 years. So if you go 1,000 years, you're looking at, what would that be, like 40 generations? Yeah, an evolutionary time scale. You can have some change then, but it's not that big a deal.
Just a blink of an eye.
Yeah. I mean, relative to like the billions of years life has been around. Yeah.
All right. So there was that question. Okay.
Yeah, but it's a good thought though. And what you might see is like adults could look different because maybe there'll be different, sorts of pressures. Maybe things that are causing us to die now will be something they find cures for. Maybe they make it, for example, aging in us is caused in part by shortening of telomeres. Maybe they have some way that to dietarily make that not happen. So people then end up living a lot longer.
Right.
I mean, those kinds of things could happen, but I don't know if they would look different from us because I don't know that we have. Maybe there'd be something on aging. I'm not sure. Possibly, maybe people don't age as fast. So maybe I would look like somebody who's 150.
I was wondering something like what Sabrina said. There would be definite change, 1,000 years ahead in the future. Yeah. And I was at this talk at New York City Comic-Con, and I cannot remember the scientist's name, but he was saying that if anything changes, it's the fact that we're going to live longer. Yeah. And the way science is going now, we might not even die.
Oh, I doubt that.
Well, he's saying that there's because of food and diets and, we're going to live to, more than 100 years. You're just going to keep living. And I don't think he's, that's not something that's going to come, but that is one of the things that probably will happen more than anything else.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. That's a great point too. And I suspect things that cause people to die young, those are the things that's the easiest to fix. So that's what I would expect the biggest change. So if you take like the oldest people today versus the oldest people in a couple hundred years, they're probably not going to be that different. But what's going to happen is more people live to closer to that age. I think that's where, and that goes along with what you're saying. Because we have people today living to over 100 too. It's not common, but it does happen.
It's becoming more and more popular. Exactly. We're seeing it more often than we used to.
Yeah, exactly. But probably the top level, that's a harder one to change because there's something more fundamental has to happen.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying it couldn't happen. If part of what causes that is that sort of shortening of telomeres, which are the caps on the ends of chromosomes, if they find some way to make that not happen through diet or through some sort of intervention or medicine, maybe they can push it out to 150 or something like that.
I see them doing it.
Yeah.
I see them doing it. The people that are in charge,
it's amazing to see like how far we come. We look at 1,000 years, but even think about 100 years ago.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Dramatically different now. So who knows?
Interesting.
Okay, so the next part of the talk that I have on my list is that we wanted to discuss our favorite episodes, and so you know what mine is though, Mohamed, because I came on for your talk on that one. So my favorite episode is definitely Distant Origins. Yeah. I just can't get over that one. And it's written by one of our favorite writers, Joe Menosky.
Mm-hmm. And which one is Distant Origins?
The one with the Voth species. So it starts just with the Voth finding the skull.
Voyager. Voyager. You're talking about Voyager. Exactly. Oh, I love that episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is stellar. Yeah.
Isn't it? Oh my gosh.
Yes. That is a good one. Alternate, is that, what would you call that? Is that alternate evolution? Or that basically they're saying that there was a dinosaur type, not humanoid. It's a humanoid?
No, it's just a dinosaur.
Just a dinosaur.
Just a dinosaur.
Just a dinosaur.
It came from our planet.
Evolved.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So is that like, what is that called? Like alternate evolution, or?
Well, that would just be evolution. I guess. I think. Let me tell me if this is what you're getting at. Do you mean the fact that it stands on two legs and stuff like that today? So that would be more convergent evolution. That somehow some aspects.
I know that word.
Yeah. Basically, in similar environments, they now look a little bit kind of like we do in some sense. So that would be an example of convergent evolution in that case.
Yeah, like the sharks and the porpoises.
Very good. You remember my last video.
I do. I get an A.
A plus. Yes.
He always wants that gold star.
I do.
Well deserved.
Teacher's pet.
Teacher's pet. No joke.
No, not teacher. She's going to be a new
teacher.
I take that class.
So that one always fascinated me because I think about that one and I think about the whale movie where they're talking about completely different species coming from the same planet. Mm-hmm. Right? I just think that was
the whale one is problematic.
Yeah. I was like, how are those two? Two whales fixing everything? Just two.
There's actually many issues with the whale. So first is the alien species, right? The alien thing with the weird hanging ball thing.
Yeah.
There's of course the whole sound doesn't travel through space thing, but we're even setting that aside. That's for Dr. Aaron McDonald. We'll talk about that one.
There's that.
Setting that one aside too. The implication was that the whales on Earth were related to these aliens.
Yeah.
what? Does that mean they're not related to us? Or does that mean they like left Earth and went into space? Or like, what? There's a lot of stuff that just was unsaid there. I guess we never saw what was in the weird, cylinder ship with the hanging ball.
That's a Yule.
We never did.
Yeah.
It's just a pool.
Weirdness there.
Whales swimming around.
Yeah, but your point, I forget who said it. One of y'all just said this too about like whether 2 would be enough to repopulate an entire species. Yeah, that's a big problem. Starting with just 2. I mean, the amount of genetic variation there is tiny.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, they would be inbred. They wouldn't survive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they themselves would be okay, but their kids, so they could make kids, and the kids would be okay. But then it's going to be like siblings are having kids with each other.
Right.
Okay, that's a problem.
That's all sorts of crazy.
That's all sorts of crazy.
More
Maybe
whales.
what's going to happen is they're going to do some sort of genetic manipulation and take out all the bad mutations. I don't know, but I mean, it doesn't. In and of itself, just putting them there and hoping for the best, like, that's not going to work.
Because that's all they did. They just dropped and said, all right, go.
Yeah, go to it, George and Gracie.
Fix it. Right.
Canon now. They said they'd be
That's
populated
such a,
with whales. That's it.
That's such a TOS crew type of solution, though.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
the flip side is, it would have been hard for them to imagine, like, we're going to take this, like, pod of whales on this Klingon ship. Movie-wise, it would have been hard to have done it the right way.
Right. They would have definitely needed, like, the Enterprise D to get everybody on that.
Yeah, exactly. Cetacean ops and just filled with whales.
Yes. Which, thank you, Lower Decks, for finally showing us.
I
I know. Isn't that wonderful?
That was good.
It's so cool.
So happy to see that.
Yeah.
So
Those
happy.
very randy dolphins.
Yeah.
Very.
Or porpoises.
Yeah. There's one funny thing, though, about inbreeding, that if the whales were already really inbred, this is a funny thing. If the whales were already really inbred, inbreeding them further may not have much worse effect. Which is kind of it's almost ironic, right?
Yeah.
Because the reason for that is because part of what makes things get bad when you inbreed is you take mutations that like let's say I have one copy of bad mutation and my wife has one copy of the same bad mutation. You put it together, now you have 2 copies, right? That's then the one that's really sickly. But if you have a population that essentially has already no genetic variation, you already have 2 copies of the bad mutation, so you're basically as sick as you're going to get.
Okay.
So in that sense, shy of more bad mutations coming up, maybe it wasn't that. So that's the piece I'm not sure. I don't know how. I guess the population of what kind of whales were those? I forget.
I don't remember.
Humpback. That's right. Yeah. I don't think the population of humpback whales is so small they have no genetic variation though now. So I think that I think it still doesn't work. But it's like cheetahs. Cheetahs have like almost no genetic variation at all. You can inbreed cheetahs and like. They're not going to get. I mean, they're already sickly. They're not going to get more sickly.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fran goes, oh.
Oh,
Sad. All right.
I know.
I like the cheetahs.
It's already
They're
sick.
cool, though. They're cool. They're
They are
fine.
They're
cool.
good.
Cool.
That's what they do. It's good.
Yeah.
They're good.
Okay, so another episode that's one of our favorites that we have talked about on another show is, of course, again, we're going to Voyager with Lineage. And this is the one where B'Elanna decides she wants to see her baby.
Yeah.
And she starts messing around with the holographic imaging.
Yeah, that was
Well, she not just the holographic
It was-
imaging. She starts trying to change the DNA sequencing.
Oh, yes.
for
Yes.
child.
It was so painful to watch.
Yeah.
I'm taking one from column A, one from column B.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, genetically, there's not a problem with that, but ethically, there's huge issues there.
Yeah. It was just sad.
Yeah, it was. It was very,
sad.
very sad. You're just thinking, like, if you're morale of the kid there, like, how do you feel? Like, your mom didn't like you the way you were, so, like, no, I want you to be this way. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was going to get rid of that dominant gene. She was.
Yeah, and I get what she was trying to do. She was, from her perspective, she was like, I want to protect this person from teasing and stuff like that. I mean, I get what she was trying to do, but that's not the way to do it.
But I think there was also some self-hate going on there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, absolutely.
Some internalized, what is it, racism that she internalized when people treated her.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yep. That's
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah, that's the sad one. All right, let's go to a fun one.
One thing that's interesting
pick a
is
fun
that
one.
the person that wrote that episode is also the same person. That is James Caan. He also wrote the other one called Masterpiece Society.
Oh.
Where
From
they
Next
had,
Generation.
now that's another one where they had a set group and they thought they had enough people to go on with their society. And then when they decided that people were going to be removed from that society, when they wanted to leave,
This is
they
TNG.
weren't going to have
TNG,
enough,
yeah.
right? They weren't going to have enough.
Season
Yeah.
1 or 2. Yeah, it was early TNG.
Yeah,
Okay.
the bubble
Yeah.
people.
The
people in the
one where
bubble.
Troy falls in love with the guy. And
Oh yeah, where they have that horrible scene with the kid playing that depressing ass piece of music. The kid is on the piano playing, and then the words, and they're just like, no, keep on playing, and it's like, no, stop, it's depressing.
Yeah. Do you remember? I don't remember I remember the issue that they didn't want people to leave. I don't remember. Was that a genetic problem or was that more sociological? Like we don't want to lose our
seemed
2
to be
engineers.
I think it was both.
Maybe it was both.
Those people were genetically created,
Engineered.
right?
He seemed
They
to
had
almost think
to
if you
be-
took one piece away, they would unravel. That
Right.
they,
Oh,
They had-
They
I didn't
were
remember that.
connected to they were also connected to the planet and the way the
Okay.
planet evolved, and they
Yeah.
were
well, they were in a
Wait a minute.
biosphere.
yeah.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
talking about different episodes.
Yeah,
I'm
they were in
thinking
a
about different
biosphere. In a
episode.
biosphere.
Oh, I know. You're thinking about Up the Long Ladder. That's the one with the clone planet and then the Irish planet.
Oh, no.
Oh, that
Oh,
was,
no.
that
I
was,
didn't think of
that
that
was
one. That's a
hilarious.
mess.
I love that.
I'm thinking about the one where
You're
Troy
thinking about the one where they
goes
stole
down
the
and
kids?
she falls in love with the guy.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
right
that's
away.
the one
That's
I'm
Masterpiece.
talking
Yeah.
That is master. That's
Uh-huh.
right.
That's
Okay.
Masterpiece.
So
Oh, okay.
those
I was
people,
thinking about the one that maybe.
those people on that planet, each of them were bred genetically to serve a specific purpose in their society.
Oh, okay, so it
And
was a little bit
that's
of
what
both.
was so disturbing about that
Yeah.
concept. It's like this one's bred to be the administrator. This
Yeah.
one's bred to be a scientist. This
So-
one's bred to be a warrior. What's the validity of genes, like breeding certain genes to make people to
Yeah.
do something, to come out a different way?
It's a great question, and this actually gets at a dichotomy that comes up a lot in Star Trek, when they say bred versus genetic engineering, because those are not the same thing, but Star Trek sometimes uses those interchangeably. So let me answer your question first, and I'll come back to the other one. So your question is like, could you be bred for a specific occupation? I mean, in theory, you could. Let's set aside humans because that's always fraught. I mean, obviously, horses have been bred for specific applications, and
Right.
if you think of that in terms of their careers, yeah, I mean, there are horses that are bred to do this versus that. Yeah, I mean that's certainly, and dogs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, you could imagine something like that with people in terms of somehow selective breeding for mathematical ability, I guess. I mean, I don't know what the heritability is. So actually, I should define a term. I just use the word heritability. Heritability is what fraction of the variation in a trait is genetic versus environmental. So if the heritability is high, that means your trait is fully genetic. So something like, whether you're lactose well, actually, that's not even a great one. Your eye color is very heavily genetic. It's very little environmental. In contrast, educational attainment, that's almost entirely environmental, and then very, very little genetic. So heritability is low. I don't know for most careers what the heritability would be for the skill sets you need. Probably there's going to be a little bit. I mean, if you're like lifting refrigerators, then yeah, you can get bred for bigger muscles, I guess.
Lifting refrigerator.
I don't know. I was thinking about that Money for Nothing song, I guess.
Got to move these
Exactly. That's the line.
because then we're gonna owe some money.
Yeah. No, never mind.
So that's one thing. But the idea of selective breeding versus genetic editing. So when you say selective breeding, what that means is essentially what's happened with, let's say, like dogs. I mean, the dog breeds we have weren't like genetically edited to become this. It was just over the course of many, many, many generations, they picked the dog that, was more and more beagle-like, or was more and more chihuahua-like, or was more and more Great Dane-like. And that was something that happened over a very long time. I don't think with Masterpiece, I almost said Masterpiece Theater, with Masterpiece Society, I don't think with Masterpiece Society there's been enough generations to do that kind of thing. I mean, they would have to have already started, right?
Right.
Okay.
So I don't think that's what would have happened, but maybe if they're doing some sort of genetic editing where I'm going to add this thing which makes you produce more of this particular enzyme, which then leads to bigger buildup of muscles, which leads to, something like that. Maybe this is something that came up in the context of Khan. So if you go back to the original,
my next one,
if you go to the original episode Space Seed, they say it's a product of selective breeding. But you figure like, okay, from the 1960s to 1990s, that's one generation. Like,
Right.
It's not very strong selection.
Right.
That's just
Wow.
picking somebody at that
Just
point.
picking someone. You got
Yeah,
you.
right? Yeah.
You guy over there, come here.
But
So
then
now
in Wrath
we're gonna-
of Khan, they redid that. And they said, oh, no, he's a product of genetic engineering. But it makes sense, again, like coming back to the point Sabrina made earlier, makes sense for the time. I mean, we hadn't even sequenced DNA in the 1960s. I say we, I wasn't around, but people hadn't sequenced DNA in the 1960s. So, they weren't thinking about genetic engineering. They were just thinking about selective breeding. So,
Yeah.
Right.
But now I want to go back and watch Masterpiece,
I do too.
again.
I don't remember it well.
Yeah, and see like how they, with your two definitions, these definitions of these different terms, and now look at it and be like, how did they do it? Because I don't remember the episode well enough to remember if they were talking about selective breeding over a long period of time on this planet, or if they were talking about, genetically engineering something.
Yeah, because you figure, I mean, maybe we're on the planet for 200 years. So what is that like? That's 8 generations. That's not very long selective breeding. I mean, you get a little bit of an effect there, but it's not. You wouldn't get a giant effect. I mean, it'd have to have a very simple genetic basis for that to do much.
Definitely, we'll have to change the title of the episode, not Masterpiece.
Yeah. I like it when they try these things, though, because I mean, even when they don't do it great, it's always instructive. So this is something I like to use in my class. Like, I'll sometimes have them watch, in the class I use using that textbook. I'll sometimes have them watch an episode that maybe the science isn't great for. And then, okay, this is an opportunity to talk about, like, what are the misconceptions that are here? What are the things that would have made it work? So it's an opportunity and not necessarily a problem. So,
Yeah.
All right,
but we did bring up that one
Nothing
up the long ladder with the Irish people versus the clones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a funny one. It was kind of weird in a lot of respects. The clones one was interesting because that was one where they brought up a critical thing, which is true. And this is true if you have any species that's purely asexual and reproduces like as clones, right? It's exactly what happens like if you make, a Xerox copy of a book and then make a Xerox copy of that copy and a Xerox copy of that copy. Any mistakes that are introduced are then perpetuated from there on out. So it just gets worse and worse and worse. The advantage of sexual reproduction is you can mix it up. So like if this word is gone from this copy and that word's gone from that copy, you put the two together, you can get some kids that have the two good copies again and you can recover it. If you don't have sexual reproduction, everything just gets worse over time.
Mm-hmm.
So and they brought that up.
Fading.
Exactly.
Fading.
So they called it replicative fading. They just made up that term, I think. So
yeah.
That's not a real term, but it's better than the scientific term. I was like, man, we should have used that one.
That is a good term, yeah.
Because it's exactly what it is. Ours is called Muller's Ratchet, but it's because this guy named Herman Muller introduced it back in the 1940s. And it's kind of like a ratchet, only goes one way, like when you turn stuff, like, one way doesn't do it.
Okay.
So it kind of makes sense, but it's a lot harder to explain than replicative fading. It was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Kudos to the writers.
So going back to this isn't a clone question, but I think you talked about this a little bit in one of your shows too. Another one that's a great, the Jem'Hadar.
Yeah.
Who are just like genetic messed over. I mean, what didn't they do to these poor people?
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting one because the replicative fading thing may not apply to them because what may be happening
they're not clones.
Yeah, well, they could be, but even if they are, they're not clone of a clone because like the Jem'Hadar don't reproduce with each other. Right, so they might have like a master Jem'Hadar and just make clones off.
They hatch.
Do they hatch? I didn't remember that. Is that right?
Yeah.
They hatch.
They have a hatchery.
They hatch from eggs.
Oh, okay, I didn't remember that. I remember the baby one, but I didn't remember where the baby came from.
The baby Jem'Hadar. I love that one.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But
they have no females.
Yeah, that's right.
They have no females.
The Voyager at least had females, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, can we talk about the clownfish? I read about that in your thing. Yeah.
The clownfish.
Is that in your book?
No,
but like something. It's like okay, no, that's from Jurassic Park.
Oh,
where it says nature hates it when there's only one thing. Like if it's all women, that something will turn into a male, or like what's like it'll flip flop, hermaphrodite sort of.
There are cases like that. So there's a worm that people use in their research. It's called C. elegans. It's a little worm, and they tend to be hermaphrodites. But every now and then, like 1 in 1,000 of them is a male. And so normally what happens with the hermaphrodites, they just self-fertilize, right? But
yes.
Yeah, but every now and then they'll make this like male, like again, literally 1 in 1,000 that'll go out there. And if the male has kids with one of the hermaphrodites, I'm just calling she, I don't know, maybe I should say they have like a ton of offspring. Because again, it's one of those rare opportunities for bringing in new genetic material. Now, selfing isn't the same as asexual. Selfing, you still are making new combinations, but you only have very, very limited pool because you just have what's in you. Mm-hmm. So imagine I have like, you remember the old classic genetics in high school, the big A, little a, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I'm big A, little a, and I self-fertilize, I can still make kids that are big A, or little a, little a. So they're not necessarily exactly the same as me. Whereas if it's asexual, I'm just making another big A, little a. So the problems are a little bit different. They each have problems, but the problems are a little bit different.
They each have problems. Yeah, you got a lot of problems.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So, okay.
I have
Go ahead, Fran.
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Damn it.
Dr. Noor, do you think that the tardigrade would have been like huge, like they made them in Discovery?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So they're macro.
Yeah.
Here, I mean, in the little teeny things that survive everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait a minute. I kind of question that myself.
No, that's a great question. There's a principle in biology called, or actually even this really comes from physics. It's called the square cube rule, or I can't remember, square cube rule or square cube law. It's one of those ones. If I wasn't on with you guys, I'd Google it real quick and chat.
It's physics. It's a law.
Yeah, probably. But what happens when you increase? Let's say you double the size of something, right? Mm-hmm. Then the cross sectional area goes up as the square. So let's say it used to be 2 meters, and now it's 4. The cross-sectional area would be the square of that, but the volume is the cube of that. So in terms of being able to have muscles that can lift things, that's going up with the square, whereas the volume, which would be like the weight, is going up with the cube. Mm-hmm. So eventually, it's not going to be able to hold itself up. It's just crushed under its own weight.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why, for example, ants look like they're so strong. But if you made an ant as big as us, it would not nearly be that strong. It would just fall apart. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's something that they just didn't do any science on. They just made it up.
Well, I mean, it's based on real stuff in the sense that the aspects about how tardigrades can survive at least brief periods in the vacuum of space.
Yeah.
They pulled out elements of science in there, and then of course it's a TV show, so they have to make it interesting.
Right.
If everything was microscopic, it would be like, yeah, nobody cares.
Okay.
I mean, but tardigrades are. I mean, the real ones are they're microscopic. Like, you wouldn't even see it. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What a great question.
Thank you.
I looked it up. It's the square cube law.
It is law. You were right, Yvette. Good job.
Physics. It's always a law with physics.
Wow.
Well, questions? All right. I wanted to go to, we were talking to, now thank you so much for introducing us to Professor Fleming.
Oh, yeah.
Crystal Fleming. So we had a really great conversation with her a couple of shows ago, and she talked about scientific racism and the genetics, using genetics against, races and all this kind of stuff. And I thought that was really interesting. And she brought up one point where she said that eugenics was pretty much racist. Yeah. And we were
It absolutely was.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely
blown away by
was.
that one.
It's really horrifying when you look at these. I mean, there are people who made these amazing scientific advances who, when you look at what they were doing on the side, it's terrible. It's horrifying. So I use an example. There was a fellow named Ronald Fisher. He basically, you've heard of the test, the analysis of variance, right? This is a statistical test. He's the one who came up with that. He's come up with so much.
No, I haven't heard of that.
Oh, sorry. The analysis of variance. It's a statistical test to look for differences in the averages of two groups. It's a really fundamentally basic statistical test that people use all the time. And he's done a lot for population genetics, for all sorts of fields. Clearly, he was a brilliant man. He has this book called The Genetical Theory of he's long dead, by the way. He had this book called The Genetical Theory of Natural Selection. And I think the first edition was published in 1930, something like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, right. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
He's a British guy, wealthy British guy. And, the first part is all all this great elaboration of evolution, science, mimicry, all these really cool concepts. Last 6 to 8 chapters are all about how the poor people are having more kids than the rich people, and this is a big problem, and the only way to stop them is to like reduce their birth rate so we don't have a dilution of our society. Like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
This is a horrifying now.
Wow.
I mean, honestly, even at the time, I think it should have been horrifying. But
Right. Well, yeah, it really should have been.
yeah, I mean, it's sad that there is Professor Fleming's right. There's a history of eugenics and the sort of like who should be allowed to breed and who shouldn't. And, even in some of the scientific societies that I'm associated with, like the American Genetic Association, I used to be president of it, recently, not like back when it was crazy. But I think it used to be called something like, it used to have the word eugenics somewhere in the name. Like, oh.
Ooh, wow.
But again, this was back in like 1912 when it had this,
Wow.
not recently.
Can we just briefly explain for our listeners what eugenics is? I mean, they might
Sure.
not have heard the Dr. Fleming's show, and
Sure. So eugenics is this idea that basically there are groups that should be identified as being allowed to continue to reproduce, and there are groups that should not be, that can be identified as not as being ones we should not allow to continue to reproduce. So you could imagine as an example that individuals who had genetic diseases, there was an idea that if we stop people who have genetic diseases from reproducing, we can produce a purer population in subsequent generations and maybe get rid of these genetic diseases. And you see, of course, what this leads to very, very quickly. I mean, even that part right there is problematic, but it's very easy to go into really dark places, instantly from that starting point. But that's a short version of eugenics. And it was legal in the United States in some states into like the 1970s. It was ridiculous how far it was. There's all sorts of examples of it too. There's a famous person named Dorothy Buck, who there was a legal ruling back in, I don't remember when this was, maybe 1930s or something like that, where and you can look up the statement from the judge. It's really horrifying when you read the statement from the judge, where she was basically like forcibly sterilized because they said that she should not be allowed to pass on her genes because this is a terrible person. Blah blah. Turned out, I think one of her kids she'd had prior to the sterilization ended up being like on honor roll and stuff, just to show how ridiculous the whole thing was too.
Right. So we get into the eugenics war, and it was something that we were talking about. We wanted to know like what that war was in Star Trek, because it was just such a scary thought for us to hear that term. And what could they possibly be fighting about, and how bad could it have been? And it's so interesting that when we do see Space Seed, the person that is the representation of the eugenics war is not white. He's brown. I was like, all right, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Please.
I have a question, and it's kind of similar to that. But
sure.
Dr. Noor, what did you think of the bell curve?
Oh, I mean, I've never actually read it, but it's obviously very fraught in general. I mean, I've never read the actual book, just based on the bits of it that I've heard about. Yeah,
I thought it was awful. I thought it was just awful. I'm like, what?
Why don't you explain what that is to people too, in case they haven't heard of it, Fran?
Well, it was basically saying that Black folks need to be. To put it in succinct words, Black folks always need to have a curve in anything that they do. Like we are below average all the time.
Ridiculous.
And it was, and I'm like, and it should have been really, there should have been more protest against it. But back then, which wasn't that far, they didn't have the internet and all that stuff. But it was controversial, and it was awful. It was just awful about us, for Black folks, basically. So like that, like we were just predisposed to being like stupid or something.
It's ridiculous because I mean the thing is, what we really know from the genetics now is that there's very, 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 very little genetic difference between people from wherever they're from. Like the variation within any group is dramatically bigger than the variation between groups. Right? It doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah.
So there's your race is a social construct when you talk about that in your presentation.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, like, along those lines between the social construct, like where do you draw the lines? Like why? Because genetically, so the most diverse population genetically, like where you see the most variation, is on the continent of Africa, and that's even taking out like the random white guys in Johannesburg and stuff, like taking out those people, like, not including them. There's so much genetic variation there. So like if you pick two people from different parts of Africa, they're genetically way more different than one of them might be to somebody from, Japan or from Poland or from Brazil or whatever, or something like that. Yeah.
It's always my favorite part of when we watch the Henry Louis Gates show on PBS, like Finding Your Roots. That's always my favorite part at the end when they reveal somebody's genetic makeup, and everybody's always so surprised, like, I have what in me? Like, where? Like, that's the coolest part. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again because we're going to bring it into existence, that Dr. Mohamed Noor and Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr. need to team up on a show. I need to see that happen right now. PBS, if you're listening, and we know you are. We know you are, PBS. Let's make this happen.
I would
watch it.
I would donate so much money to my local PBS station if that show was on the air. Telling you right now.
Well, the other thing in terms of the social construct is like, why do we even do it by continent? Like, that's such an arbitrary, like, why continent? Why, does it matter? Like, why continent something? I mean, I don't. So the example I think I used in the talk that you guys saw is like you can do it by height. I mean, it's just about as non-arbitrary as if you were to do it by continent. We could say like, oh, I'm in the race above 6'2". I'm not, but I could be in the race above 6'2".
Right.
6'2"ers.
I'd be in the race between 6'2" and 5'8". You can measure it. At least you can measure it more precisely.
Oh, snap.
We know ambiguity. Like, there you go.
That advantage.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, there is a genetic association with height, and it's honestly about as big as it is at my continental origin. So why not?
Let's do it. Change all those tests. Are you 6'2" and over? Are you 6'2"? They would still be having us checking boxes.
Right, because the people in power wouldn't be in power anymore, so that's not going to happen.
Right, they would find some way.
No, because most people in power are very short.
Yep. I'm trying to compensate for something.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Of course.
Okay, I'm going on to the next section of the notes. Gonna move us along. So, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the Trekkie podcast itself because I just love that. So when did that start?
And can I just clarify for folks? It's not just it's not podcast. It's a YouTube show. You can watch it. You can watch it, and it's dope.
Yes, watch it. It has the second best theme song.
I know, right?
I love it. So that's a great question. This came about after the cruise. I think it was while we were on the cruise. There was such positive enthusiasm about. Yeah, obviously, people have usually been enthusiastic when I talk about science and conventions and stuff. I see people were excited about it. It was on the cruise. I remember talking with my wife. I think she may have even been the one who suggested it. I'm not sure. Actually, it may have been her idea. So why don't you do this online? I'm like, maybe. So I initially ran it by one of my contacts at CBS to see if this was something they would be interested in. Like, because my initial thought was something more like I have a class on Coursera, the free online thing.
Oh yeah,
I thought, well, maybe I could do something like that on Coursera, get some help from them. And I got connected with a few people from CBS, and they're like, we do a little bit of stuff like that, but you have to be in LA to do it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to go spend months in LA or something like that. I've got a job here in North Carolina.
I got something I'm doing already.
Yeah, exactly. So then I was like, well, why don't I do like a little mini series here? So I just did. At that point, I think I did 4. I just recorded 4 short videos based on pieces from some of my talks. Which now I have to say, when I watch those first 4 videos now, I'm always like, oh my god. The editing is so bad. Oh my gosh, what was I thinking? It's so painful watching them now, but
awesome to me. Like, I love them. I love them. That's better than anything I would ever be able to put together. Like, I love them.
You're very sweet. I've learned a lot though now over the course of the year. So after I did the first 4, the response was very positive. So then, also I actually got a grant from the National Science Foundation. I decided that part of the grant is I'm supposed to do some sort of outreach, and this was right around the time of the start of the pandemic. So I said, hey, maybe my outreach can be making more of these videos. So basically, link the two things together. And it's been so much fun. So I've been trying to do it. It's been close to monthly. There's some months where I didn't quite make it. Like I think I had to skip September and October because I just got too busy with transition back to in-person stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been fun.
We missed you.
Oh, thank you. I just pick like a concept or two and then an associated Star Trek episode and then just put it all in there. It takes the ones I do that are the shorts. Those take forever to make because there's so much graphics. Basically, I'm changing what's on the screen every 3 to 5 seconds.
Yes, I mean there's so much in like a little 7-minute thing. It's unbelievable. So that's
those take forever.
Convergent evolution and mimicry.
Yes.
Okay.
Good memory. Good memory.
Oh, please! But the little the flies that look black and yellow and look like bees. I'm like,
the
get out of
Good
here.
memory. Wow.
Fakers.
That's the word that comes up in there. I love it.
I love the little graphic he had of the guy running. But if I do see anything that looks like a bee, I am out of there.
I'm like that guy too.
All right, so all these little flies that have no stingers are looking like those other bees because they're just mimicking them because they're safer. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, really?
It makes sense. If I was a fly, I'd do the same thing.
I didn't know that. I'm like running from everything.
But the much easier videos are the ones that I've done, the Bio-Trekkie with the Admiral ones with Jane Brooke, the person who plays Admiral Cornwall in Discovery. That's much easier because it's basically just recording a Zoom session and just putting a little bit in the front and the end. So those, that takes much. It's basically the time of recording plus like an hour and a half or something like that. But the other ones, those other ones are like 7 hours each. Not quite that long, but they're very long to make.
I love the one with Jane. She's really.
Hey, that was my line.
She's amazing.
She went. Did she go to Duke? Didn't she go to Duke?
She did go to Duke, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not when I was there, of course, but
But she went to, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, she's wonderful, and I love the way she asks questions, and she thinks of these analogies. Because I'll give a scientific explanation. She's like, oh, well, that's kind of like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, that's beautifully said. I would never have thought to say it that way. That's amazing. But she has a brilliant mind and an amazing curiosity. She came to visit Duke and actually speak at my class once as a guest. And she had brought with her my copy of my book. And she had annotated like through the whole thing and had all sorts of questions and comments and thoughts. And they were so thoughtful and so intense. I was like, wow, you blow me away how brilliant you are.
Yeah, she's deep on that show. I mean, she's not playing with that.
Yeah, and just a wonderful, like you guys, a wonderful human being. So kind and so warm and just positive, upbeat. Like, aw. I love her. We're doing it hasn't been announced yet, but actually, I guess by the time this comes out, it'll be announced. I think I'm tweeting it tomorrow.
Oh, good.
But we're going to come back and do season 4 after the season ends.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, those are great. I mean, they're just so, and my joy of watching you comes from the fact that I am not a science person. Like, I was never great at science classes. I could do well enough. I could memorize enough to do well on the test. And as soon as the test was over, it was gone. It was just absolutely gone, and it's like, it's just not my forte, I mean, I was having fun in my English classes,
Yeah, good.
But what I love is that you make science so absolutely understandable. You take, and it doesn't matter what you're talking about, you take these really complex topics, scientific topics, and you break them down into ways that I can understand them, and not just can understand them, but want to understand them. Like, I want to learn a little bit more about it. I'm like, okay, see, now that's an innate teacher. And that's why I think I love you so much, because you found this way to really actually communicate. with people. And I said the same thing to Dr. Fleming as well. Is what I love about her as well. I mean, it's always your best teachers are wonderful, effective communicators, and infect you with their excitement about what they're teaching, and so, and it makes me so happy that at 50 years old, I'm still learning and still have so much more to learn. Like, I love it. I get to do it from people like you. So thank you.
Incredibly kind. Thank you.
Yes.
I was starting to tear up as you were saying that. Like, it's exactly what any teacher wants to hear at any time. Thank you.
Got us all reading about genetics.
All right.
Actually, just this morning, I had a meeting with somebody from the Center for Learning Innovation at Duke, and was trying to talk with her about how to do some assessment for how effective the videos are. Because I said, look, I post them and they get likes and they get positive comments, but I don't know how effective they are. So we were talking about how to do some sort of like formal assessment and do something, have people watch it and answer questions and things like that. So we were actually meeting to just discuss that today. So might see something along those lines coming out soon. Maybe I'll improve them.
I took the quiz that you have on your show, and I didn't do very well. So,
oh, you're talking about the quiz show one with
the quiz? Yes, I got all the meteorology ones wrong. So tell Katie that I definitely need to watch the shows again, because I was like, what? When did that happen? I mean, you guys.
I'm with you. I saw, if I didn't have the answers written there for me, like half those questions, I wouldn't know the answer to. Like, okay, I don't know.
Oh my God! I was like,
I don't know what the tornado scale is.
Yeah, what? Oh my God. I thought I would knock it off. I'm like, I'm going to just go in here. I'm going to just take this quiz. It was you, Anne Marie, and Katie giving the question.
Meteorologist Katie?
Meteorologist Katie.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And Dr. Anne Marie Siegel. I'm like, okay, here they go. And they asked these questions, and I was like, They were all from Star Trek. And I loved it. And then I love that you guys, like you were saying to me, you explained the answers to all of us. And it was just a fun quiz hour of all these questions that I couldn't believe I got wrong. But
it was a blast because
when was this quiz?
We've done it twice.
No gold star at all.
Yeah, this has been with the virtual Trek cons for this year.
Right.
So we did one in early August, one in early October and one in early November. They were so much fun to work with.
I was working both times. I remember that. I wanted to go to those.
Yeah.
Well, at least Sabrina was representing for us.
That's right. My sister's in the house.
I was not representing well.
Oh, no. Just being there as well.
War Dog was tearing it up. War Dog, Bill.
He was amazing. What?
Brother from another mother. He was tearing it up.
What was funny is I think it was like 2 nights or the night before the quiz show, he had just had dinner with us here at the house. And then I texted that to Anne Marie, and then Anne Marie, during the quiz show, she was like, Warnock seems like he knows a lot of the answers.
Somebody
like,
accused him of cheating.
He was not. He was absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not.
I tell you, it is again. The chat was hysterical. It was so funny, and it's like I learned a lot. I learned all about thunder, snow thunder, or something.
Oh yeah, what was
thunder
snow?
Yeah, there's a thing.
Thunder snow.
I remember hearing
that.
I got that either.
That was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I remember when it did that. Mm-hmm.
Cantori lost it. He was out in the snow and it happened, and he just, because he's so dramatic anyway, and he just lost it. He said, "Did you see that? It just thundersnow." I'm like, okay, all right.
That would freak me out too.
Snow. Yeah.
Totally.
All right,
Okay,
y'all. If you don't know about all this stuff, you need to go and listen to Trekkie Explains, and also about the quizzes. And I'm telling you, it's all there. Get the book. It's just amazing. All this stuff we can learn. It's like science is cool.
Science is cool.
Science is cool. So,
Actually,
Mohamed,
it is.
the questions are, where are you going to be coming up this season? Are you going to be hitting the convention circuit? Are you going to the cruise? Like, what's the deal, brother?
That's a great question.
He's on the cruise.
I'm on the cruise. I'm already signed up for the cruise, and
He's
so
in the cruise.
We will. We'll be here.
We'll see you there.
I'll be there. Oh, you're gonna be there? Awesome.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna be there.
Tails.
Awesome. No, we're doing dinner, man. We're doing dinner multiple times.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about other ones.
T.
Yeah, I don't know about other ones after that. I'm still exploring to see whether I can do like Mission Chicago and 56-year mission, stuff like that. I haven't gotten signed on for those. Online, I'm supposed to do. Dr. Anne Marie and I recorded this thing for the Fort Collins Comic Con. They said it was supposed to come out like first week in October, and then the second week of October, and then third week of October. It still keeps getting pushed back. So maybe it's going to come out, but actually we have a short version of that. We're actually going to put out on Sunday on the virtual TrekCon. We're going to do a short version of that. So, but we already recorded. We recorded like a month ago now.
Wow, nice. Well, we'll be waiting to see that. And of course we'll keep our ears peeled to see if we're going to be at some of the same places. I'm not going to see you on the cruise, but my sisters will be on the cruise. I know, right?
I know, we missed you at 55 years.
Shout out Costco.
I know, Costco, my job, man.
Retail never sleeps.
I'm not really shouting them out though, because it kind of got in my way with my Star Trek, and I'm kind of upset about it, but that's okay.
I'm sorry I missed you at I know you were at Awesome Con. I'm sorry I missed you there.
Yeah, I know, right? We were looking for you, but I mean, it was crazy.
I didn't go to that.
But we'll be looking to run into you soon.
I'll always be looking for you guys. I love my sci-fi sisters.
We appreciate you. And listeners, this was the coolest thing. Not only did the doctor shout us out at STLV, but he did a presentation wearing one of our shirts. I mean, how cool was that? We were like, what?
Hey, you gave me a free shirt. You guys were the cool ones.
Oh,
I almost fainted when I saw you with Sonequa Martin Green with your shirt on. I'm like,
It's funny actually, when you guys pointed that out. I hadn't even thought of it at the time when I was talking to her. And it was later when you guys commented on Facebook. Oh yeah, I was wearing that with her. It's like the shirts. I was just wearing because I love the shirt.
All we know is that Sonequa's eyes saw the Sci-Fi Sisters.
That just makes us happy.
I love her too. She's amazing.
Oh, but next time you get a chance to be around her, just send her all this from us. All the love.
She's the captain of the cruise.
Is she? I can't remember. Is she signed up for the cruise? I don't remember.
yes.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're going to be all over that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, folks, this has been a really fantastic show. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to hang out with us and talk to our folks, our listeners. Do you have a place where people can leave comments for you? I mean, do you want them to leave comments in your YouTube channel, or what would you like?
Sure. I mean, I'm on YouTube under Trekkie or Trekkie Explained, so just search for that, comes up. Or I'm on social media as MAF, like in Frank Noor, and like November OOR. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagrams, all of those things. The same. Noor.
Nice. That's how I say it in my head.
Yeah. Well, it used to be, before I got married, I didn't have the F, and it was manure, and that didn't go over so well.
No. But it's so much improved. As usually as things are through marriage, much improved.
Totally.
Hey, Yvette, where can people reach out to us?
You can find us at sci-fisistas.com. That's SYFYSISTAS.com. Join us on the mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. And the Sci-Fi Sisters Book Club, both on Facebook. Download the Trek Geek Network app, where you can find us and our family of podcasts on the Trek Geeks Network. On Instagram, sci-fi.sisters. And we are also on the Twitter at Sci-Fi Sisters. After listening to this podcast, please rate us and write a review. We may just read it on an upcoming episode.
By the way, I rated 5 stars.
Exactly.
Thank you, sisters. And we want to take a moment to shout out Dose, the anonymous one. Dose. He's the baddest engineer in any universe or galaxy. He's responsible for all the music you hear on our show, as well as engineering skills. So if you need engineering skills or music skills, Dose is the one. It's DOSTHEANONYMOUS, the number 1 at gmail.com. Hit him up for all your needs. Folks, we love you very much. We appreciate you, and we love you, and peace, love, and hair grease.
Hey, y'all.
Are you looking for that perfect holiday or birthday gift for that special geek in your life? Why not check out the world's first app-enabled Tribble from Jay and Kaylia at Science Division. These soft and cuddly fuzz buckets actually trill for friends and squeal at Klingons. Adopt your Tribble today at Science Division. That's sciencediv.com. Science Division. By fans, for fans. Trouble's never been this fun.